Good evening, Shots Fired viewers. This is Metal Gear Solid 2 for the PC. Hi everyone, I'm Pythonicus. Now, a quick couple of words before I start here. This was shown off last November by Raichu MGS on the PS3 version of the game. However, he wasn't able to actually finish out considering some technical issues. So here's to hoping we can actually finish a run for Shots Fired. So another thing I want to say is I will probably not be explaining anything except for the first boss for the first couple of minutes, considering she starts at about a minute and a half and she dies in about 15 seconds if done correctly. So if we're ready for it, we'll go for time in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Metal Gear Solid 2. This is how should I explain it? This is a game in which you go fight Metal Gears. There you go. So a lot of what I'm doing here is just efficiently skipping codecs and cutscenes, and the rest of this is going to be general movement stuff. So, like I said, Olga is our first boss. We'll be reaching her in about a minute and a half or so. Now, the way Olga works is that she can do one of two things on the start. She can either turn left, or she can run straight towards Snake. And what we want her to do is turn directly, turn directly left. Now, what that'll do for us is that it'll allow us to get her in an AI loop, which avoids this whole speech about some intangible concepts being her parents or some such. So, yeah, we really want her to turn left. And right there, very specific timing to dive underneath that camera without being spotted, because unlike European Extreme, on normal that camera doesn't actually move. This is being run on the PC version, so just by virtue of that, this is going much faster than the PS3 would, just on loading times alone. Now, unfortunately, we can't get Olga loop, but that's fine. What we can do instead is just know where she's gonna be and take shots as shots as necessary. She takes 4 headshots. Now, if I didn't miss that first one, she'd be half dead already.
I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents.
Yes, yes. So, like I said, we know basically where she's going to be at any given time.
We've shared
So we can just kind of gently graze our way through this fight.
No one. Nothing except the unit. Nothing else.
And there's the first boss down. So, another quick note on the movement in this game is that while you're Snake, spoilers, we're not going to be Snake for very much longer, but while you're Snake, rolling is actually slower than walking by a couple of frames each time it happens. So we try to avoid rolling except up and down into like loading triggers. And rolling down the last few stairs in a flight will generally be faster as well. So after killing Olga, or tranquilizing Olga, we get the USP, and this is what we need to get down into the engine room in the tanker holds. However, it's also useful for doing distraction shots like that, which, if I had done it properly, would have allowed me to skip that camera. Now, I was hoping that that guy would just damage boost me out of my roll, so I could recover faster from it, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And up ahead, I'm going to have to do some fancy punching in order to avoid getting kicked, which is incredibly slow. Knocks Snake over, and it's just embarrassing, really. I'm going to equip the camera there so that I can set up for a glitch in just a couple of minutes' time. Run down to that second line on that floor, drop down here, sets up a cycle for this guy to start moving so we can just shoot him and roll through. Now, that's important because we want to catch a fast cycle for the guy on the top left of the engine room. So, we want him to be all the way up there to where he is now, so that we can, if I can just get up the stairs really quick, do something like this. Just trank him, run straight past, shoot here so that he starts calling in for backup, which skips a like 2-second cutscene from a guy who comes out of a door we didn't even see. Which brings us to Deck 2 port. Now here I'm going to use a couple of timing mechanisms, one of which very, very literal. Well, hello again. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, about those technical difficulties. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get started again real quick in 3, 2, 1, start. Sorry about that again. Sometimes things just happen that you don't have any control over. Anyway, hi. This is MGS2 for the PC. I'm skipping codecs and cutscenes.
Alright, let's look at...
So it's actually a really good thing that happened in the tanker, considering the tanker is really quick. It's like 6.5, 7 minutes less. So, I guess now I have the opportunity to tell you about all the neat little movement tricks I can do. Mostly consists of running and trying not to get shot too much, except for here.
Enemy sighted. Requesting...
Yeah, unfortunately I had to, you know, restart the entire PC. Remember that SSDs are your friend. Anyway. Kept you waiting, huh? Yeah. So, this camera roll is very timing specific, and thankfully I got it twice in a row. Maybe this time I can actually show you guys the one on the way down. So yeah, I'm rolling up and down into loading triggers, rolling up, or rather down the last few stairs in the flight. And since this is on normal and we don't necessarily care about ranks, we we tend to take a few intentional alerts just to make rooms a little bit faster. Oh, and Olga's being nice to me too. So this is what potentially could end up in a loop when she goes over on that side. Now I stand on that corner so that she follows a very specific path so that I can... Dang. Anyway, that was a potential loop. Unfortunately, couldn't get it. Sometimes it's a little finicky on normal. But again, just being able to track where she's going to be is very, very easy for our purposes. So yeah, that was Olga again. Unfortunately, no loop, but hey, what can you do? So a lot of learning how to run this game is learning where and when the cutscenes and codecs happen so that you can learn to skip them efficiently and effectively. And yeah, you know, that sort of thing. Now, I did mention this last time, but I menued to the USP while I was rolling down into that loading zone, and we want to do that as much as possible. We want to keep in motion while we're doing our menuing. And here we go. That's not exactly what it was supposed to look like, but it worked. So, another thing about our equipment windows is that we are set to previous equip for our quick swaps. And what this does is it allows us to set up our equipment for what we need in the next few rooms and not just immediately. I'm going to take a couple quick shots. And right there I did something called tactical reload. Instantly refills the mag, and for the M9 in specific, it'll stop him from doing the rechambering animation, which is useful. And it'll come in more handy even later. So again, we're on a pretty strict timer for engine room. It's not as bad as it is on European Extreme, but it's still something you got to keep an eye out for. So just gonna run up here. Something that is worth noting is that if you try and run into a corner, Snake and Raiden will just both bounce off thanks to the weird physics engine in this game. So take out these sensors gently. There we go. And once again, we're going to be engaging in our timing mechanism. Now, for the second time he says time, I'm actually also using a visual cue for when the laser pointer is on the guy's leg, like way off to the side. And here, a couple of punches sets us up to run straight past that guy. And trust me, that's a lot scarier than it looks. So this leads into our second boss fight, or boss fight at least in terms of boss survival mode, which is an ambush of soldiers. Now, there's going to be 5 guys, burgers and fries, delivering hot and fresh straight to Snake's face. We need to take him out real quick. And I use a nice little visual indicator for where I should be aiming. Take out the first 3. And with proper timing, everything is all right. Take 1, 2, and 3. We take out the last 3 lethally because if we take them out with the tranq pistol, they're going to take longer to despawn, and therefore the scene transition takes a little bit longer. Just a small little optimization. And they don't actually count as kills if you do it quickly enough. So here's why I equipped the camera. I'm not going to try and explain this. Just watch the insanity. Basically, the game doesn't like you having a camera equipped while you're mounting a ladder. So that's hold 1. Pretty simple stuff. Not anything really too fancy. For hold 2, we're going to interrupt this nice little show of theirs with a green screen. So we can sneak around this left side, hold up 3 specific guys, and this last one can be a troll sometimes, so we got to be careful about that guy. And there we go. Now it's time for Metal Gear. Now we're going to take 4 photos from the front left, from the front, and the front right. We're also going to take a photo from the Marines logo. However, the Marines logo, that's good enough, right? Looks like a Marines logo. So that was the tanker portion of the run, like I said. Right around 6.5 minutes, 7 minutes or so. And now we get to what most people consider to be the more fun portion of the run, which is riding. Now, I mentioned earlier how Snake rolling is a little bit slower than just running normally. Now, that's the exact opposite for riding. We want to be cartwheeling everywhere. Anywhere we can fit in a cartwheel without bouncing off of walls or getting stuck, we want to be. So, that's a lot of what you'll be seeing in the next hour or so. Now, we may be 7 minutes in, but the run hasn't started quite yet, because we still have all these cutscenes and codecs to go, and it'll be a while before we get to our first bit of truly uninterrupted gameplay. Whoops. Well, I am now nameless, but that's fine. That menu is a little tricky to get past sometimes if you're trying to go in a hurry. So, another thing we'll be doing is taking codec calls that are mandatory as soon as we possibly can. That just saves a few frames here and there. Pretty useful. And we're going to be coming right down here. Now, this room literally does not matter as long as you're on the elevator at the end as soon as it comes down.
I'm under enemy fire. Secure the perimeter.
And yeah, there's 3 paths through the holds to get to the Metal Gear. But the one we take is, so far as we know, the fastest one. And I just hip toss these 2 guys and wait for the elevator to come down. Practice Raiden's Iron Fist a little bit. So here we go. Still got a little bit to go before these cutscenes and codecs go away for a little while. And here I'm going to roll into a codec trigger to make sure that I'm a little bit further into the room than usual, which allows me to just kind of plop down in front of the door and head in. Again, cartwheeling wherever we can, wherever we've got the space to. And we're about to meet Pliskin. Sorry. I don't know who that other guy I was about to say was, but we're about to meet Pliskin, and he's about to give us our first weapon of the run, which is the SOCOM pistol, which I will be using very, very sparingly. Whoops. See, that's something that can happen if you're rolling in tight corners like that. You just get stuck on the wall. Not really a big issue, but it does waste a little bit of time, and, you know, speedrunning. Gotta go fast. The reason for radar off is I've literally just gotten used to it. I've run the 3 main categories of the game, which normal, European extreme, and very easy. So I just, for my time playing European extreme, I just got used to not having radar on. So here we go. Once we get into Strut C, we are officially go for the run. Now, thankfully, Metal Gear Solid 2, unless you're just starting out and Tanker's a little bit of a sticking issue, the start of the run isn't really a reset heavy point. But like I said, if you're new, you can easily get caught in Tanker hell. And again, getting stuck on walls. Blah. So, I loaded up, at the beginning of the run, I'd loaded up a New Game Plus Plus save. And what this does, it allows me to skip this one and this one. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here for another minute and a half listening to how we don't have to think about this so much. So, now we have both the SOCOM and the coolant. Menu to both of those really quickly. Again, moving while we're doing so by just rolling. And we're going to be going through the big shell counterclockwise. There is a route that was kind of recently started up late last year for doing the route clockwise, which also skips out on the M9, but that's a little scarier than the route I'm running today. And the route I'm running today also kind of has a nifty little trick for a quick kill on a boss, which is also incredibly difficult to pull off. And as far as I know, I'm the only one who actually tries to go for it most times. And that roll was a little poorly planned, but it's okay. So we have our chaff grenades and our coolant both equipped. And this is specifically so that I can be set up for strut A and the bridge there directly following it. Now, here I'm just gonna whoop right on past that guy. Because Metal Gear Solid guards, everyone. Toss a chaff behind that guy. And here I'm gonna be doing something called coolant rising. Basically, by equipping the coolant, getting up and unequipping the coolant, we can get up immediately from the prone position. Which also, I position myself rather precisely so that I can get that bomb from behind the pumps. Now, that guy is right where I wanted him, so I could just scoot right on past. And here I'm going to toss my other chaff because there's a cipher on this bridge that we don't want to get spotted by. And that allows us to quick, easy entrance to strut F. Now, strut F, we're going to grab our M9 finally. It's the weapon I had at the very beginning of the run as Snake. Grab that. Quickly menu to it while rolling. Hold up, shoot, and run through that guy. And we can come down here and defuse this bomb. Or rather, dispose of it. So I also do half coolant rises when I'm in a kneeling position. Which saves maybe like half a second. Maybe less. And here is quite literally the most scary part of the early parts of the run. EF Bridge. This has tons of claymore mines littered around, and if I don't take a very specific route, I will blow up. And blowing up is very slow. Also causes an alert, which is even slower. Thankfully, no need for any of that. And strut E itself is rather simple. All we gotta do is head up these stairs. And much like Snake going downstairs, rolling up the last two stairs is riding is a little bit faster than climbing them normally. So, on the strut E roof, the helipad, the bomb is actually underneath this very suspicious looking Harrier. I'm sure we won't be seeing anything about this later on. So yeah, another half coolant rise, cartwheel literally all the way down, and make our way back through strut E. Now I'm going to take a codec call here immediately by buffering the input. This isn't necessarily important on normal, but it's something that's something that saves a little bit of time. Right, climb up on this here sensor, grab the box. Wait a sec, roll, and do our menu there, and we're out scot-free. So for strut D, we're actually going to go for the lower path on this one, because that's where the bomb is, and, you know, easy pickings, really. And here I'm actually going to be doing something, well, I'm going to be doing something akin to a drive-by. Much like the guy in strut F. I'm going to wait until this guy pulls his radio out. Not sure I actually hit him there. I'm going to take it on faith that I did. Which will probably bite me in the butt here in a few seconds, but that's fine. Now, if my aim was any good at all, I could have already taken this guy out. There we go. So by locking on and looking, the L1 button is your best friend in this game, and you can use it to lock on. And by locking on, letting go, and then looking up, very timing dependent, you can get a quick headshot, which is what I was trying there. But you know, you saw what happened. Equip the box so I don't get hit stun there. If I was a little bit quicker on the draw, I could have actually avoided getting shot at all. But anyway, we've made a full circuit of the big shell at this point. Just grab the sensor. And our menus are still set up. And our last bomb is just, you know, chilling out up on the roof of the women's bathroom, because Fat Man is Fat Man. Now here I'm going to be equipping my SOCOM. Now I emptied the mag to 4 rounds earlier, and that is specifically so that I could empty it faster on this pass of this bridge. Because we still got to take care of that cipher, but we also want to be able to cartwheel our way down. Equip the M9 again. Now that could have been smoother, but that's no big deal. Now we have 400 seconds to get back to the Strut A docks where we started riding from. And, oh yeah, you can knock that guy off in very specific positioning by rolling at basically the last second and being completely on that top side wall. Nifty stuff. The Substance Skateboard. Unfortunately, that's not in the PC version. Or the HDC, for that matter. Otherwise, I would be probably playing nothing but. So yeah, we had to make our way back to where we started the plant from. So we can take care of a very, very large bomb, which actually just looks like a regular bomb. You know, details. But this is also going to lead into our third quote-unquote boss fight against Fortune. Now, Fortune, we can't actually do anything against because she's got some sort of magic mumbo-jumbo. You know, don't worry about it. Metal Gear. Nanomachines. So, the bomb's under the sub, just take care of that real quick. And like I said, we can't really speed up Fortune too much. There's a few ideas floating around about, you know, the destruction of the room being the trigger for the next scene, or, you know, how many shots she takes. Point is, no one really knows, but you can't kill her, is the biggest thing. You can't kill Fortune, and that just means we have to survive the fight. Now, what better way to survive the fight than by abusing some invincibility frames? So, we're going to wait in this box until she takes out that forklift. When she does that, move up to here, and this is why I emptied the mag on the SOCOM. Anytime Raiden pops out and back into cover, he has invincibility frames, and we can use that, or rather abuse that, in situations where we're expecting to take damage, or, you know, this, that, or the other thing. But I emptied the magazine so that I can avoid having a small cutscene play in which the round ricochets off of Fortune's EMP thing. I don't know how to explain what she has. It's a thing. Makes her basically immune. I have to be careful here because if I'm out of cover when the cutscene for the elevator coming down plays, Raiden will just run free. And we really don't want that because we end up having the pretty good possibility of getting shot. Not that it really matters. We have enough health to tank a few hits here and there, but it's best not to gamble, really. So, as soon as she's done shooting Raiden ineffectively in the face, like so, want to run and grab some ammo. And I'm having the coolant out here, and what this does is, there's some few specific cutscenes in the game which completely just unequip whatever you had on, but leaves your previous slot the way it was. So here up on the top of Strut A, we're not going to have our coolant equipped, but our previous will still be the M9. And this is the case in a couple of spaces. Here and in the hostage room, which will come later. Hopefully don't get blown up. Grab the chaff. Nice. Easy peasy. There's claymores up on that roof, and I have a very, very good tendency of getting, you know, blown to bits. Oops. Anyway, FA bridge. We don't have to spend the chaff here again because the cipher is gone now. And I'm just hugging this right wall so that guy, when he turns around, doesn't spot me. Now, Strut F is going to look a lot similar to the way it did last time, except this time, just going to tactically reload, run through. I meant to hold that guy up, but that's no big deal. And we're back to EF bridge. This time, we're a little bit safer, because with the box, we can actually hug the corner and not bounce off of it. So, that route is a lot less scary than it was the first time around. So, again, a 400-second timer to get up to the Strut E roof where Fat Man is waiting for us. And Fat Man is the guy who's been laying all these bombs around carelessly, just kind of littering. So we're going to go take him out and tell him not to litter. Now, for this fight, I'm going to have the SOCOM and the coolant. And the SOCOM is specifically so I can knock him down. Whoops. There we go. So, I'm going to go to the top right bomb first, so that way he comes up to the top of the arena for, to start with. Knock him down. And I'm trying to get 3 shots in on him. Now, that's not going to work. The M9 has some significant bullet travel time. Okay, this is just going horribly. That's fine. So that... There we go, that's a 3-shot cycle. So the 3-shot cycle is faster than most, well, any other method of actually taking Fat Man out, and it's incredibly precise, and it's a pain sometimes, as you saw. But it is the fastest method, especially if I can get 2 of those in a single boss fight. But really, we want to take him out before we have to go deal with that second bomb. That's the basic hallmark we're looking for. Unfortunately, we didn't get a special aims room. Now, the hostage room can come in like 4 different flavors. There's the normal one, which we have here today. We have an old lady room, an old man room, and what we call the Jennifer room. Unfortunately, we just got the vanilla one, which is real sad, but it doesn't really change anything, considering the fact we've still got to actually find aims. Now, the unfortunate thing about New Game Plus Plus, yes, we were able to skip the Stillman cutscenes, but now aims is effectively random. So we actually have to go looking for him. The game expects us to use a directional mic to go find him, but we know how to see him, or we know him by sight, basically. Ah, it's not good. So, yeah, now I'm going to do this under alert, which is hairy at best. Come down here. Now, when I come out of this room, there's going to be a ton of dudes, and it's going to be very... okay, well, not fine, but well enough. Dang. Okay, well, we have to do this room over again because of my carelessness on the EF bridge.
Are you all right? Answer me. Brighton.
But that is okay. Make sure we have that. Wait for that guy to turn away. And do this the right way this time. There's our AK. And there we go. Easy as that.
Nothing here.
So aside from that, little minor screw up. Nothing terrible here. Now we're going into the Shell 1 core to go find aims. The aforementioned aims. But first we have to go pick up that directional mic the game expects us to use. Now here we want to be really careful. We can't let the guards see us doing anything suspicious like cartwheeling freely through the air like we don't care. But the cameras, they're just fine. They don't really care. As long as we look like a soldier. So here, we're going to take our left path and cartwheel, cartwheel, cartwheel. That's a lot of the speed strats in this game. Avoiding guards, cartwheel. I very slyly just sneak through all of these guys. And again, cartwheeling up the last few steps. Here it doesn't quite matter because the door is in our way. And for every elevator except for the first one, we're going to tap the button twice, which calls it ever so slightly faster. Now here, we're just going to do something like this. And our dude should be coming down. Just like so. Puts him in direct position to where we can just shove his face in this thing. No problem.
You are cleared to enter.
Now Ames. As I've mentioned, his position is effectively random. And I don't see him yet. Don't see him yet. There he is. That's not a bad Ames. We want him up in the starting little hallway. The first 5 hostages or so. But ultimately, that's not a bad one. He can end up all the way anywhere in the room. So. So upcoming, we have to equip our AK. This is hello. This is the other instance in which the game just kind of forgets what we had on, but remembers what our previous weapon was. So here, equip the M9. Run this way. Meant to hit the box, but that's fine. He's going the way we want him to anyway. Equip our chaff.
What's going on?
Throw our chaff so our cameras up ahead don't get in our way. Take out that guy, because if he sees me, that's an instant alert, and that's no good for this upcoming section. Because again, those ciphers, they have laser aim. Even if you're cartwheeling, and they can shoot you and drop you off this bridge. Now there, I wanted to be very, very safe and equip that box back. But this is our last trip to the Strutaf. And what we need here is a sniper rifle. Now that's unfortunate. I was hoping to hit him in the head, but that's fine. We just have to hope we don't run into him on the way back out. There we go.
Everyone, stay on guard.
Now, all that did was refresh the caution, which is no big deal. We actually like having the caution here. Make our way back through the second to last time through the EF bridge. Avoiding all of our claymores yet again. We'll take the direct bottom path here and just run all the way directly straight forward. Now this time we're going to take the top path here and watch that guy on the lower section of the bridge. Still waiting for him to just plop on through that railing. I haven't seen it happen before, but I'm sure it can. And we're coming up very, very quickly on the Harrier boss fight. The Harrier has a quick kill. On PC, it's a whole lot harder than on the HDC. But we're going to try for it here. In fact, this is the stretch of the hardest few bosses in the run. The ones that I practiced the most and still end up failing. Like Fat Man earlier. So this is right in the thick of it. But first we got to take out these Semtex sensors. I said take out these Semtex sensors. Thank you. Grab the Pentasmine menu. Shoot right about there on the flag. Wait for that guy to move. Otherwise, we have a tendency to shoot him. And there we go. Sensor's done. if you shoot the Cypher, for whatever reason, it blows up the bridge. No idea why, because technically we're still just dismantling that sensor, but whatever. I also went through the effort of re-equipping the SOCOM, and that's for some more iframe abuse later. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I missed the 5th. That's no big deal. Grab that ammo. Now, if I had gotten that 5th shot, he would have skipped past this phase entirely. But that's fine. Take a couple more shots and dive down here. And this is where we would have ended up had we gotten the 5th shot. Take a shot. We waited on that cutscene for a half second just so that we could take that shot and have it lock on. Because for some reason the lock on persists, even though you're watching the cutscene. It's real weird. Take a couple of shots here. Iframes here. Now, I was supposed to re-equip the Stinger immediately and take a shot, but I missed my timing. Missed another shot, but that's fine. Oops. That's not good. And that's Harrier. So like I said, if I had gotten that 5th shot, he would have gone into the dive bomb Hellfire phase much sooner. But it's okay. Leap of faith here. Hopefully we didn't miss that. There we go. Okay. Looked a little bit sketch, but made it. And that's what matters. And here there's a minor time save I can get if I roll just right. Done, done, and done. There's a little like half a second cutscene that plays about those when those are just about to fall over. It's useless, and it's nice that we can skip by it. And we have the BDU equipped, and this is very, very intentional. It acts as a sort of active camouflage against the orange backdrop of the big shell, so that those two guys on that bridge don't see us. Now here, I use that as a timing mechanism so that I can knock on that wall there. Remove our BDU. And I'm going to take this really safe because I have a tendency of running off this edge. And it's really embarrassing, and yeah, no, that's not happening. And we can animation cancel here to make our slow crawl slightly faster. And our last chaff goes here because there's a quintet of ciphers ahead with turrets on them that'll cause us to die again. This game really likes its ciphers across bridges, if you didn't tell. So jump number 1 and jump number 2. Easy every time. And now I unequipped the BDU here because for some inexplicable reason, the upcoming cutscene actually takes longer to load if I have the BDU on. So, now we're in the Rescue Prez section. Prez is not our friend. No matter what anyone tries to tell you. On normal, he's not so bad, but on a European extreme, he can really kill your run. But first, before we can rescue him, we need a Nikita launcher so that we can take out the electrified floor ahead. And if this sounds really, really familiar, you're right. This was basically an MGS-1. So, got a quick codec here. Our swimming tutorial that we don't need. Now, our first trip is going to look entirely normal. And our second trip will too. Depending on your definition of normal. But our first trip, we're just going to go this way and grab our Nikita launcher. Turn around real quick and head back the way we came. I don't know about the burgers Prez would want to eat. He's a bit of a creepy dude. He might end up taking us to some Soylent place or something. Soylent Green, specifically. So, now that we've got our Nikita launcher, take out camera 1 and camera 2. That was a RNG manip shot. Easy every time. Now we want the Nikita launcher to go as straight as long as we possibly can manage, so it has that boost time. So, took out the breaker, now we can go save the Prez. Now, after the Prez conversation here, tends to be my least favorite section of codex and cutscenes to skip. But it's the first time we get to hear Snake since the tanker. And he's just going to tell us something like, you know, I took these photos 2 years ago.
I took these photos.
Yeah, there you go. But these are some of the longest cutscenes and codecs to skip, even on PC, which is, like I said, faster than the HD collection. So, anyway. Now, we are tasked with saving Emma Emmerich, our literal best friend. Not a pain in the butt at all. But before we can actually rescue Emma, we have another boss fight ahead. Now, there's a quick kill on this boss, too. I'm not going to explain it at all until afterward. What instead I will explain is what I'm about to do here. Like I said, this is a completely normal thing. I mean, I don't know if you do this in real life, but I do it all the time. Just gonna swim into the ceiling here, turn around, and just kind of rub my nose against this wall. Which is kind of an annoying prospect on the PC version. Like, incredibly annoying, actually. Wow. Hasn't gone this poorly in a while. Rub our nose right up against this wall. Or Raiden, please. Let's not have a talk on the Friendly Shots Fired Marathon stream here. You're not treating me well right now. Anyway, hold on. One more try. So as you can see, we're rising out of the water. Like I said, completely normal. And what is this camera doing? Come on. There we go. Rising out of the water, and we just kind of, you know, float gently through the ceiling. No problem. Like I said, normal things. I do this all of the time at the rec center. Now, if this camera could cooperate with me, there we go. Just dive beneath the water again, and surface in the loading zone. Easy peasy. And that was Vamp. Hope you didn't blink. So, the way that works is... I said I wasn't going to explain it, but I'll do it anyway. The way that works is we're basically avoiding a couple of sets of iframes of Vamps. And, basically, if we hit him in the sweet spot each time, it'll stop him from diving beneath the water and losing a bunch of time. And we use an audio cue for that. Anytime he screams, we just fire the next one off. Now, that one actually kind of scared me because I literally just figured that out yesterday. We in the community knew about it for a very long time. Other people have used it, but that's the first, like, yesterday was the first time I had actually managed to pull it off myself. So I'm very, very glad I got to show that one off. So now we're up to Emma. Like I said, our very best friend. We're going to leave her behind a few times. We're gonna well, you'll see. It's best if you just see. So here we just kind of have to drag Emma, unfortunately. We can't leave her behind in this room. But upcoming, since we kind of did a little thing to skip a couple of doors, we're going to have to open one. Thankfully, our other one's open because that's basically a cutscene trigger, and it's open regardless. But we have to open this one. Now, you may be asking, hey, Python, your Emma O2 gauge, it's looking a little low there. Don't you care about Emma? And my answer to you, whoever would ask that question, is no. I literally don't. We're just gonna keep going and drown her a little bit. Only a little bit, though. See, we're almost there. She's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. Okay. See, she's fine. She's alive. A little bit of water in her lungs, but that doesn't hurt no one. Park her right there. And then, yeah, this is happening. So what that avoids is her saying how much she absolutely just loathes bugs. But, you know, no problem. And here, this is a strat that was rediscovered very, very recently by the current record holder, Tyler 2022. And we're just going to leave her there. Don't worry about her. She'll be fine. And we're just going to make our way through. No one notices anything. You know, Metal Gear things. And head back on in. Because I feel like we forgot something. We may have just forgotten some tiny little insignificant fact. Oh, hey, Emma. Nice to see you here. So, when you leave Emma in a room, she'll teleport to the nearest safe spot on the map. And in this case, we parked her where we did, so that she would teleport into the president's room. And here, we have... Well, there's a strat in which we bump her through the door and it can soft lock you, but I kind of screwed up on my setup there. Note that I said it can soft lock you. I'm not lying. It's happened to many different people, myself included. So here we're gonna come right about there, and then just toss a chaff. Hey, hole in one. So that falling through the bridge means literally nothing. It's still gonna go off just the same. Easy peasy. So if I had bumped Emma through the door, she would have been a couple of steps further into this room, allowing me to run just slightly further without having to drag her. And use a coolant here to douse the fire. Hello. Can you not? Thank you. So yeah, coolant. That's the phone ringing. Don't worry about the phone ringing. It's fine. No one important. Anyway, we're coming up on the very last Emma escort section, which is sniping. Now, aim now, please. Thank you. So, yeah, sniping is essentially a 5 or 6 minute auto-scroller where we can do basically nothing to speed it up, but there's a ton of things we can do to slow it way down. And yes, I did soft lock in a tournament race. It was pretty cool. But who was phone? Wouldn't you like to know? Secretly, it's Olga. I have had the phone equipped there in a run. It was hilarious. Anyway, sniping. I'm gonna shut up so you can hear the most incredible song on a very good soundtrack. So, sniping. Okay, Emma, thanks. Sniping segment introduces something about Emma that no one in the community really likes, and that's the fact that she can fall over if you look anywhere in her general area code. Which it doesn't save, it loses time. Which is real cool. Anyway, sniping is all about the patterns. If you know the pattern, this is never going to be an issue for you ever again. So our first guy is going to come from the top left, second from the bottom right, third from the bottom left. And this is going to be the case on the other side as well. And in between all these guys, we're just going to take pot shots at ciphers. And Roy brings up a fun little tidbit of information. On the HDC, we'd use something called the loading trick to make our runs that much faster. And what loading trick is basically it's a way of caching information from the codecs and the cutscenes and whatever, and stores it in the system memory. Now, it's less important on the PC version since it only saves like, I don't know, maybe a minute, probably less. But on HD Collection, it saves upward of about 5 or 6 minutes, so it's rather important there. So, Emma's just about through this first pillar here. Casually just take a shot without pentasmine. There we go. Now, you see me unequipping and looking up every now and then because there's ciphers that spawn above me that I don't want to miss and have just floating around randomly. And yeah. Like I said, if you know the pattern, this becomes really easy, and it's kind of like a really good rest point before the end of the run, which can be kind of scary sometimes. And then admire a beautiful sunset. Now Snake's gonna call us here in a few seconds. There we go. Now he's ready to snipe if we should call him back. We're not gonna be calling him back. Since we got everything quite under control here. So like I said, pattern, top left, bottom right, bottom left. Never changes. And the guys will start spawning out soon, so I'm going to take that pentasmine. Right about there. Actually, yeah, right about there. There we go. And I can just grab more of that. Now I'm standing in a specific spot so that I can grab more pentasmine, or rather more PSG-1 ammo, without having to fiddle with menus or anything. And admire a beautiful sunset. So there's gonna be one more guy once Emma gets up onto the lower part of that platform over there, and that'll be our last soldier we have to deal with. The sun is evil, indeed. So there you see, last guy. Casually just missed a shot. So now we can have some fun. Come on, there we go. Standing in the wrong spot, no problem. Yeah. The seagulls aren't being very kind. Anyway. Random call. Let's see what it is.
Actually enjoy abusing helpless animals.
I don't believe this. I had no idea you were that kind of a monster.
I don't understand you, Raiden. If you're satisfied, get back to the mission.
Dang. Roasted. Anyway, that was the second to last cipher I took care of. Came from that side over there. There's going to be one more from this side. And there you go. Now, in honor of my good friend Jesus Juice in chat, I must do a thing. Also in honor of shots fired. The sun has successfully been exterminated. You're welcome. So, once Emma reaches, right about where she is, we start Vamp, and we just kind of, you thought the PSG-1 was a sniper rifle, when really it's just, you know, a machine gun. No problem. So Emma's been stabbed. You could ask me if I would care, and the answer would more than likely be no, not really. Because now we get to go fast again. And, I equipped the chaff at the bottom of there to make this section absolutely trivial. Just kinda gonna, take an alert, no problem, get shot, no problem. Let's just go. Now I need that chaff just so I can get past this section without getting shot and dead. And once we reach the elevator in the Shell 1 core here, we're going to be in our end game arsenal gear. No, there is no cap on the rate of fire for the PSG-1. Not at all. As fast as you can mash that button is as fast as that thing will fire. It's pretty great. So for this torture section, we don't actually have to press any buttons at all. As you'll see, we'll run out of air, but we won't actually run out of any health.
This fellow? You remember me, don't you? You've grown.
Which is a great time to take a drink.
Have they altered your
Or, you know, take a shot in honor of your fallen homies. Although, it's up to you whether you count Emma a homie or not. Anyway, once that's all done and over with, we can skip past a few more things here. And we will initiate the only call in the run, where we are the reason for the call happening.
A little while. Brace yourself.
So, yeah, Olga just did that. Whatever. So, we're actually going to call Rose. And what this is going to do is it's going to actually progress the story and let us go. And we're just going to call her again because I'm an idiot. Don't worry about it. Also, don't mind what you see on the screen. PG-rated stream and all. So, I may have mentioned once or twice that this is the PC port, and so, the thing about the PC port is that we use a widescreen fix so that we can run this thing efficiently and without any real issues. And part of the widescreen fix kinda breaks the field of view for the cutscenes. So, yeah. If you were wondering how Jack had a child in MGS4, I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. So I took a very specific route, and I took that call in the beginning immediately, so that I could... I needed to manipulate the route so that I could actually make that possible, basically. I'll do the fighting, you can just go home.
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw's face with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors. 61.
For the fans. Oops. So there's 6 calls in this hallway. The first 5 happen from the Colonel. Well, the quote-unquote Colonel. And the last happens from Rose. And Rose's call is the one that progresses us forward. Swap our blade. Equip our ration for safety, even though I don't plan on actually using it. And boop! Tag, you're it.
Damn kid.
Okay. That was fun. So this section actually won't progress until you swing the sword at least once and take a step forward. Agitating Snake there doesn't really do anything.
What are you thinking?
except doing that has... I've noticed that has a potential to actually manipulate which weapon he runs into Tengu 2 with. More often than not, when I accidentally hit him there, he'll have the M4 instead of the USP, which makes things a little bit faster. So yeah, we're just kind of waiting. And waiting. And waiting. There we go. So, upcoming is a skip. It skips this really long, annoying fight. We're just gonna damage boost our way through. No problem. I take out that guy so he doesn't end up kicking me, which is annoying. And we're just gonna... Alright, so what happened there is I took out those 3 guards specifically so that they didn't screw with my first-person view aiming, which is important that I'm aiming straight forward so that I could punch, punch, kick, and clip my leg through the wall into a loading zone. So that's fun. So I use the sword here. There's a method in which you use a stinger and snipe them as they come down. It's up to preference. I think the stinger method is slightly faster, but I haven't done much much practice with it, so I'd rather just do with what I know. And plus, with the sword we can do fun things like skate. And take elbows to the face. And here's a courtesy reminder for everyone in Shots Fired Marathon's chat that your fishing has in fact been mailed. Please contact your local post office if you don't see it within the next 3 to 5 business days. So this is a minute's long fight. We can skip this on European Extreme, or we can skip this on any lower difficulty in the PlayStation 2 Sons of Liberty release. However, we cannot skip this on PC or HDC on anything lower than European Extreme. It's not fun.
Right, take the item.
Also, right, take the item. So like I said, well, I didn't actually say, but hitting the guys with the swords with the sword and allowing Snake to take them out is actually faster than taking them out yourself, because much like in the ambush in the tanker, having them despawn will transition the scene faster. Much like that. And just like that, that's the Tengu 2 fight done.
It came as a complete surprise when Ocelot discovered the S3 data from GW. Not a bad idea, though. Using fire to fight fire, creating the perfect...
So we can just kind of futz around in this. There's nothing we can do to make Solidus stop talking. Aside from pausing, that is.
To artificially reproduce solid snake.
You can just spin in place. Don't ask me what Raiden's spinning on. He doesn't even have anything down there. Look at him go, though. So smooth.
Shaped by VR regimen. Sound like someone you know, Jack? I'm sorry to see you reduced to one of the Patriots' puppets. But I've made use of you, and their plan, too. Solid Snake's sudden appearance, your arrival. It was obvious.
So, after Solidus' little soliloquy here, we're going to be fighting Metal Gear Ray. On normal, there's 8 we need to take out, although that's a little bit of a we'll call it a misnomer. We only have to take out 8 Rays worth of health bars in order to progress the game. We don't actually have to destroy 8 of them.
You ran from it, and now you've been led back to war by something less than real.
So, to begin the fight, there's going to be a very, very specific pattern I'm following. I'm going to just roll forward, front, right, and then... Well, that's a new one. And then swing it left. So now that that has happened, this gets a little interesting. So anyway, this guy in the middle is going to spray. Wait a sec and tap that guy in the face with a rocket. Come over here, do the same to that guy. Aim for the left knee over here if it would actually connect. Hello, please connect. And we're going to go aim at this guy now. And that'll make sure that this guy is the one that pops up on stage. Now we can just take this guy out at a leisure. Bam, nicely done. Moving on. Now we gotta be careful, this guy can and will pop us off our feet. And now we have our fourth target up on stage. Now I'm actually gonna wait for these invincibility frames to run off instead of going for that second guy over there. Just for safety. Now this fight can be done much faster if you're not like me and you don't bork the beginning of it. I think my rocket just splattered against this guy's knee. Yep. Take a nice pot shot out of that guy so that... Well, he did it anyway, but you know. But by doing that, we can manipulate him most of the time to not actually fire those rockets at us. So what we're doing here is we're actually shooting at the ones off stage almost as much as we're shooting at the one on stage, and this will help us hit more shots to get through that 8 health bar requirement. And there we go, that's raised.
Are you awake yet, Jack? GW, the Arsenal AI is corrupted beyond repair. I admit.
And yeah, on European Extreme, there's I believe there's 24 in total that you need to take out, but there's 25 programmed or something like that. And it's definitely a more of an endurance marathon than anything. So torture, pretty simple. 15 seconds of this. Compare that to European Extreme on the PC, which is 65 seconds.
You know he doesn't know anything.
It's not him I want the answers from.
Almost like I've played this before. Only a few times, here and there. So coming up is the Solidus fight. Now there's loops for this, but anything but the fastest loop is actually slower than just fighting normally but really fast. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm just going to be fighting him normally but doing it in a manner that is so much quicker. Or 20. Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. It's been a while. Also, say hello to the biggest time save in MGS2, skipping the 40-minute outro. So, Solidus. Smack him. 1, 2, 3. And back up. Now for this first one, he's gonna do something like that. If you're close enough, you can actually start attacking him again, but we weren't this time. But we want him to spawn, to start trying to attack us with the missiles. We're gonna run away again. We're a little too close on that one, which is fine. Okay, my controller was acting up there. No problem. No problem. Like I said, get away, let him fire missiles. Now, spinning is actually slow, but sometimes the inputs are a little less than friendly. Or, you know, Solidus can just scoot wherever he pleases. Now he's in phase 2.
Good work, Jack. But this is where it gets interesting.
It doesn't get much interesting, I'm sorry to say. So he can do like 3 or 4 different attacks. He can do a quick sword combo, a slow sword combo, or he can give you the people's elbow. We want him to give us the people's elbow, like that. Exactly like that. And we're doing the same thing. We're going to space out, and that's the slow sword combo. That comes in 2 flavors, the really quick one and the really slow one. If he does the really slow one, you can actually parry him and can carry on, but whatever. Time's coming up when I hit them on the last hit. Now, you may be asking why when the estimate is so high, time. And that's because I accidentally estimated for in-game time, which is after 9.5 minutes of unskippable credits.
Do you remember this?
So that's the run.
Of course.
Real quick, thank you guys for watching. I'm not sure how the schedule's looking, so I'm going to keep this brief. Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in speedrunning any of the Metal Gear games, please drop by in the MGSR Discord. We have runners for every single Metal Gear game, from MG1 all the way down to Survive. And yes, I did say Survive. There's a couple crazy dudes who do that. And yeah, we'd love to have you. Shoutouts to Raichu, who ran this last November. And, you know, hope you guys enjoy Puzz Gun coming up next.
He said all living things want their genes to live on.
Yeah, Rico, that was time.
About